Folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck. My name is Adam Artuna. This is my mom, Gina.
He is the journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
Woohoo! And she's enthusiastic. I'm not enthusiastic about the heat.
Yeah, it is pretty warm out here. She's not lying about that. But she's enthusiastic because we're talking about football, and so it's football season. We are well within the preseason right now as far as the NFL goes, and we've had a couple of college football games already kicked off, which is awesome. So football season is in full effect right now, and today we are going to continue to talk NFL, and now we're going to the NFC South.
South.
We already did our NFC North preview. Now we're going to go NFC South here.
And yes, we're in Chiefs gear, but
we are in Chiefs
very
gear.
Sophisticated and educated.
Yes, very smart and intelligent people.
We can talk about everybody else because we love the Chiefs.
Correct. We can still support our team, but talk about other teams and go ahead and talk about those guys.
So let's get into it.
All right. So we've got 4 teams in the NFC South. We've got the Carolina Panthers, who are returning Super Bowl contenders. We also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes.
So with that, I'll pass it to you so you can get yours out there. Who do you want to talk about first?
I want to actually jump in to talk about what was one of your favorite teams.
Still
the
very
Tampa Bay
much
Buccaneers.
so. Yes. Tampa Bay.
Well, for one thing, you've got Jameis Winston coming back. We're going to talk highs and lows, then we'll rank them at the end.
Right.
Jameis Winston, former Heisman Trophy winning candidate, former national champion out of Florida State, was a rookie last year who threw, forget this, 4,000 yards and 20 touchdowns on a team that didn't win.
The third rookie to ever do that, by the way. Andrew Luck and Cam Newton were both the only other two to do that.
That young man is
huge.
A weapon.
That's huge.
And this is a quarterback-driven league. As much as I love the running backs, it's a quarterback-driven league.
Correct.
And let me tell you something, Tampa Bay, you got yourself a quarterback.
You do.
Now, if I'm going to go with what I think is the low for them, I'm not even going to hit on their defense too much. I think they do have an actually up-and-coming defense. There's a lot of speed coming out of the secondary, and I think they have a good linebacker core. The low for me is going to be the change and the head coaching position.
On the offensive
side of it.
as far as coaching.
Lovie Smith is now back in college in
Dirk
Illinois.
Cutter's the new head coach for them, and so
I'm going to throw to you because that's exactly where I was going to go.
Yes,
so
exactly. Well, with that, exactly. The Bucs have a great young quarterback in Jameis Winston. He's a leader. He knows what he's doing. Dirk Cutter was the offensive coordinator. As far as Lovie Smith goes in that whole situation, they felt like he wasn't They should
never have done that.
They should have never done that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But they felt like he wasn't bringing them enough pizzazz, power, whatever you want to say. So they said
disagree.
We
That's
totally disagree. But that was the reason why he got fired. And so they've got Dirk Cutter again. I keep saying that, but that's who was the offensive coordinator. They felt like there was a really good relationship with him and Jameis, and now he's the head coach. So this is his first season as being a head coach in the NFL. So we'll see how that works out. But that is a very good team. I think they've got a lot of noise to be made. Their defense looks to be pretty good. The offense has weapons. If they can build on last year, I think they'll be fine.
Okay.
So, So with that, we're going to go ahead and move.
Let's talk about Atlanta.
Okay, let's go down to ATL, the dirty South.
The dirty South.
Dirty.
They call it the Dirty Bird.
All right.
They finally got rid of Croy Bierman. No offense, but come on, guys.
Yeah, another reality
star. Listen, I'm excited to watch Atlanta. I don't really have a high and low. I'm just giving them my medium right there. I think that's a team on the cusp. I think they've been rebuilding. I think they're getting some young Thundercats in there.
They do.
I really think that Atlanta's got something to offer. I just can't tell you what I think that it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, they've got some good players. Julio Jones is a really good elite receiver in this league. Matt Ryan is a well-proven veteran quarterback that can win ball games. They've got Devontae Freeman, who is out of Florida State, young scat back, who's, I think, going into his second or third season. They've got some talent. Overall, their biggest thing has kind of been their defense, but we'll see how that plays out. Like you said, kind of in that middle range. They'll make a lot of splash early on, but then they kind of fizzle out at the end. And so you just kind of hope that they can stay consistent. Maybe they'll win some games and move on. Maybe they could get back to their 90s days and win the Super Bowl, or at least get there. So we'll see, but they have a decent chance in doing something this year.
Well, now why don't you go first to talk about the Panthers?
Okay, so we have the Carolina Panthers. We all know what happened last year. They just caught hot. They were a young team. They clearly dabbing, dancing. They're clearly led by Cam Newton, who is an amazing athlete in his own right, 6'5", 220 pounds. Ron Rivera is a fantastic part of that 85 Bears club that knows how to have fun and win. They're a great team. They've got a lot of talent. They're coming off of a big year last year. Their biggest enemy is themselves. If they continue to keep their head on straight if they play like they know that they can play, I don't see anyone stopping them. They've got a great defense. They've got a really good offense. Again, like I said, if they just get out of their own way, meaning just don't have the distractions, the outside noise, take care of the things that they're doing, they'll be fine.
You know, it's funny because I'm inclined to agree with you. When I wouldn't have said it exactly that way, saying their biggest enemy is themselves, but I think that is a succinct way to say it. They have every weapon and every tool to win.
Right.
There is nobody that should stand in your way. Panthers, you've learned to block out the noise. Go out there and have fun.
Right.
That would be my advice. In terms of lows, that's really low. In the high, I got to give it 100% to Cam Newton. You are the best.
Whew.
Go out there and be the best.
You're
you
awesome.
dab, you dance, you make your guys have fun, and go out there and win. So I'm excited to see Carolina.
I'm excited too. I think
really
they've got a good year coming up, and we'll see what happens.
Oh.
All right, so our last team is the New Orleans Saints down in NOLA. We were there in the springtime and got a chance to hang out in Bourbon Street a little bit.
What happens in NOLA stays in NOLA.
Exactly. We'll just leave it at that. And so, we're excited for the fact, well, at least I'm excited for the fact that I love Drew Brees. You never know how long he's going to continue to play. He is getting up there in age, but he is one of the all-time great quarterbacks, Hall of Fame player. He's a class act, great player, mentor on and off the field, and I just want it for him. I like Sean Payton as a head coach. They've always hung their hat on defense, and so I hope that they can kind of come back around because it's really good for that city. That city bleeds on that team. And they're good for both. It's good for both sides, and so I'm excited for them. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to say the same thing. Obviously Drew Brees is there, obviously, and I will say this: Peyton as a coach doesn't get enough credit because he actually took a major hit from the NFL two seasons ago and had to sit out.
He did the entire season.
Unlike other teams, Patriots, he took his punishment, sat out, came back, and did his business. But that being said, I'm going to say the low for New Orleans is. Gosh, it's going to be really harsh to say. It's the fact that it's New Orleans. I really feel like there's this kind of cloud hanging over that team and just
you kind of have like a dark cloud.
There's a dark cloud. Here's what I would love to see. I'd love to see New Orleans start having fun again. A few years ago when they were contending for the Super Bowl, Drew Brees was dancing. They were having fun. I feel like there's just this
That's a really good point. That's a really good point.
Obviously, we're trying to do analysis, so you could talk about the defensive structure and some of the holes that they have there. I don't know that their D-line has the strength or the speed that they really need to contend.
Not that they used to, right.
And here's really the glaring hole is that secondary. You were talking about being the NFC South. It is quarterback. It's
true.
In that division. If you don't have shutdown corners, you're going to have a rough season, and they don't have shutdown corners.
No, they
don't.
So
that to me is the low for them. The high for them, again, is your good leadership, your good coach. You got to find some joy in it, or it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be tough.
And y'all better go pump up those poor the corners.
Yeah, it's going to be a long season. Yeah, and there's some good receivers, Julio Jones, Kelvin Benjamin, etc., coming out of that division.
You got great receiver and
yeah, Mike Evans, Tampa Bay. I mean, there's a lot of guys that can make plays out there. So
let's see.
We'll see. But yeah, hopefully New Orleans can get rolling here. All right, so ready to rank these teams? All right, so do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
It's your show.
Okay.
You're
all right.
the journalist.
Well, as we're wrapping up here, I will go with, it's hard to pick against the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
Just after the season they had last year, it's hard to pick against them. I personally think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the best chance. On paper, I just still see them being a top team. A lot of people are going to scoff and say, how can you not pick the Atlanta Falcons? Like I said last year, they started out fast, 5-0, and then they just went through a downhill slide, and you can't have that. They've got to be consistent. Until they show that consistency, it's hard for me to pick them in that second spot. So then it is Atlanta at third, and then New Orleans, unfortunately, it has to be fourth. So with that, that's what I have. I've got Carolina, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and New Orleans.
Well, and I'm almost very close where you're at. I am going to though pick the sleeper, and I'm going to go with Tampa Bay.
Okay.
I really, everything inside me says go with Cam.
Sure.
I'm looking at Tampa Bay, and I think that they're going to pull that out. And I'm going to go Bucks.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go Panthers. And I'm agreeing with you on the Falcons and the Saints, but I'm going to actually flip them. I think the Falcons blew. Oh, I was going to say something in the pros. I think they gave you all they had last year. I think it's going to be a rebuild for them for a while. So I'm going to go Saints, and then I'm going to go
Very
with
interesting. That's great. But that's why we have the show, because we want to have good. We don't always have to agree, but it could it very easily could happen.
One of us will be right.
Somebody will be right. Well, maybe none of us. We don't know. Well, with that, folks, we do want to say we appreciate your time. Thanks for tuning in. We have much more coming from the NFL in our next episodes. We just want to say it's hot for us. We're going to go inside and cool off. But we want to say we appreciate your time. Thanks again for watching, folks.
All right. Let's grab the camera for a 5-minute break.
So we can...
I'm going to cool off the camera.
Yeah.
I'll stay tethered.
Yep, we'll just
go in.
This is burning at...
Yeah, take the camera in for a minute, and then we'll come back out.
Holy smokes. All right.
Dang it, I was going to talk about how the fact that the reason I didn't pick Carolina is they haven't shown a